Hey folks, it's me, the Bee, and welcome back to another review. Now I do realise it has been quite some time since you last saw me, or not long enough in some people's cases, but I'm here now, so let's get the ball rolling. First things first, all of you out there know I love Dracula. Like, really, really love Dracula. One of my favourite novels ever written, one of my favourite characters ever. It's perfect. To me. Now, I have seen quite a few movies. I've read quite a few books. I have seen different pieces of art and listened to all sorts of radio plays. But it's incredibly rare that I come across a Dracula-inspired work that really does resonate within me. And when it comes to today's subject, I think it is the pinnacle of Dracula-related work. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Kim Newman's Anno Dracula, the first in the Anno Dracula series, and despite the fact the series has been consistently good, this is still my favourite. So what I plan on doing is this. I plan on reading the back blurb of the book, and then I'm going to gasbag about what I love about it and, you know, all that general stuff. So be ready for some gushing, folks, because I have very high praise for this novel. If you have not had the pleasure, please go out there and find it, read it, and love it. You will not regret it. So, here we go. It is 1888, and Queen Victoria has remarried, taking as her new consort the Wallachian prince infamously known as Count Dracula. His polluted bloodline spreads through London as its citizens increasingly choose to become vampires. Ooh. In the grim back streets of Whitechapel, a killer known as Silverknife is cutting down vampire girls. The eternally young vampire Genevieve Jourdain and Charles Beauregard of the Diogenes Club are drawn together as they both hunt the sadistic killer, bringing them ever closer to England's most bloodthirsty ruler yet. An alternative history with Count Dracula as the centre. I don't think I have ever seen a piece of work that has taken this approach. Not only is this book insanely creative and just chock full of content that Dracula and vampire fans and horror fans in general would most likely appreciate, but it is so tremendously well researched. The Victorian era is one of my favourite epochs of human civilization. So many things came from it. You had the Industrial Revolution, workers' rights, fashion, politics, you know, everything that you can think of in terms of society and what shapes it. A lot of it happened in the Victorian period. That's not to say that history has been boring. Oh my God, no. But with Victorian history, it is one of the most recent examples of human ingenuity still within recent memory. So, with what Newman does here is that not only does he reimagine history, or rather world history, with Count Dracula in the epicenter, he is being, you know, him being the catalyst of what has happened. It actually doesn't include the Count that much. A lot of what is in this book takes place through the point of view of different sorts of characters, namely Charles Beauregard, John Seward, and Genevieve. These three characters are incredibly different. Genevieve is like a young vampire, but she looks young, but she has ages of experience behind her. She's a very interesting character. She's very composed, well-spoken, but at the same time, when push comes to shove, she will plunge her hand into your chest and rip your heart out. Same thing goes for Charles Beauregard. Beauregard is pretty much an investigator. He is the one who goes around and tries to uncover the mystery of the Whitechapel murders. And yes, Silverknife is Jack the Ripper. It's just under a different sort of name. And you know what? Jack the Ripper is one of my favourite things also. It's incredibly morbid, it's horrible, but you know what? Jack the Ripper is perhaps the first contemporary serial killer in history that was never ever caught. And to this day, I don't think the Ripper mystery will ever be uncovered because, let's face it, the evidence has gone, it's been long gone. But when it comes to speculative sort of fiction, it is just a wonderful thing to see. Now, when it comes to John Seward, John Seward is one of the original characters in Bram Stoker's book, Dracula, and he is basically the one who... He is the strain who comes from the original book. You see things through his point of view. You see and feel his horror that he has failed to stop Dracula from basically taking over London. And not only that, he is on his way to taking over the world. And Seward carries a very heavy burden for the failure that he has helped to commit. It is just it's a well-rounded character study. And, you know, not only is it filled with, you know, all sorts of intrigues and dramas, it is incredibly violent and sexual and transgressive. And that is what you want your vampire fiction to be. Vampires pretty much embody the sense of sickness. Sickness spread through sexuality, unsafe sex, you know, AIDS, syphilis. And not only that, but also mental illness. Vampirism is something that just infects your entire being. And when it is done, you're no longer yourself. I mean, you still have your physical body. You may still have your memories, but you are no longer the person you once were. You are something else completely. Vampirism is a transformative experience, and Anno Dracula illustrates this incredibly well. On top of that, and one of my favourite things about the Anno Dracula books, it is an all-star cast. I'm not kidding. Like, every single Victorian horror character you can think of, namely vampires, but there are a couple of, you know, bibs and bobs from different literature in there. It is just packed to the rafters with celebrity vampires. You have Lord Ruthven from John Polidori's The Vampire. You also have Varney the Vampire, and you also have references to Camilla and all sorts of, you know, not only that, it's not only mainstream characters, it's also incredibly obscure stuff. Namely, and one of my favourites, Barbara Steele from Black Sunday, where she played the role, or rather the dual role, of a vampire witch and her innocent descendant. Newman just goes all out when he writes this book, and you can feel the energy and the passion that he put into it. And that is one of the best things about it. I'm sorry, I am rambling a lot, but the truth of the matter is, if you are going to tell a story that is based in an alternate history, you have to commit to it. You have to make sure that not only are you well researched and well versed in the time that you're writing about, but you shouldn't be afraid to use these things and sort of manipulate them to suit your characters and the situations they find themselves in. And it goes without saying that the book itself is well written in terms of its prose. Kim Newman knows exactly what he's doing. He doesn't muddle too much on one sort of inconsequential detail. He tells the story in a very voluptuous but very straightforward way. And in the moments of which he shows extreme brutality and just stuff that no human being should have to look at, you can't be half-assed about it. You have to go the full way. And that's what Anno Dracula is all about. It's about giving its readers the maximum experience that Kim Newman wants you to feel. It is just so refreshing. Oh my God. I have a distinct feeling that if Bram Stoker was still alive, well, not only Bram Stoker, but the different authors who have all these various characters that Kim Newman is putting in this book, I have a feeling that they would be so happy that their characters are being treated not only with justice and respect, but they're being inserted in a very sort of appropriate manner. It is, it's just so good. So, as you can probably guess, Anno Dracula gets a 5 out of 5 from me, quite easily. It is not only well composed and well put together and just so passionate about what it does, but it cares about the audience. It cares about the material. It cares about everything that helps make it be. It doesn't bite the hand that feeds it. It willingly sucks from its throat, and it grows stronger and stronger, and I'm sounding like Sarah Palin. I'm really, really sorry, guys. But yeah, I highly recommend this book. And also, for a reference, I intend on putting the characters that are included in this book down below. You know, I'm just in awe by Newman's audacity in this book. It could have gone so wrong if he did not put the proper respect into the story, and towards the characters for that matter, his own and other people's. Without that intelligence and strategy, this book could have easily failed, and that would have been one of the biggest tragedies ever, in my opinion. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble, guys, and as usual, I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.